Hi, I'm Kayla Ann, author of Well of Dreams, and I am here to help you to launch a successful Kickstarter. In my last video, we talked about your reward tiers. How do we price them effectively so the backers can still afford to pledge, but you can still make a profit? And the question that came naturally out of that conversation was, well, how do you know what each of these things are going to cost? How do you price your books and your stickers and your bookmarks and your swag? Let's figure it out together. For most authors, when you're trying to find some place to print your books, you're most likely going to be looking at a POD, a print-on-demand company. To determine what company you should use, I really encourage you to go to that group on Facebook called Kickstarter for Authors, where different authors will talk about the different POD companies that they have used and their pros and their cons. Here are a couple of very familiar ones. So there's going to be Ingram Spark, there might be Book Vault, and there might be 48-hour books. I've heard of all three of these. I have only ever used Ingram Spark and Book Vault. So in particular, I'm going to focus on these. But as a whole, no matter what print company you use, you should be able to either find somewhere on their website where they have an instant quote button. Maybe it looks something like this to get your free quote, or it'll say a print and ship calculator. What you'll do is you'll put in all of that information to get a quote from that company, how much your books are going to cost. As you can see here, I've put in my information to get a quote from Book Vault for a 420-page paperback duplex book. And it tells me that it's going to cost me approximately $180 to get 20 books. If I go over to Ingram Spark, they're going to tell me that it's going to cost about $304 to get 20 books. So you're going to want to shop around and not only see which company has maybe a lower price, but also which company has what you want. For instance, neither Book Vault nor Ingram Spark has foiled cover, sprayed edges, things like that. 48-hour books does, but they are pricier because of it. Also, you're going to notice that when I put in my quote, I put the number of 20 books. That's because ideally, you're not just going to be ordering one book, you're going to be ordering a quantity of them. So this gives you a more realistic number of how much it's going to cost per book. If you just put in one book, it's not going to give you an accurate number. For instance, right now, if it says that it's going to cost $180 to print 20 books, that's about $9 per book. But if I put in just one book that it's printing, then it's going to say, oh, that book costs $20, when it's actually going to cost closer to $9 when you're doing a bigger order. So when you're trying to get your quotes, I suggest that you do a number of 20 copies so that you get a better idea of what those books are going to cost per book. You're going to use a similar technique for things like bookmarks or stickers, and you're basically going to shop around. The company that I used was Aura Print. I was really happy with their quality, with their service, and with their prices. But what you would do is basically just load a fake order. Go through the system, put in how many bookmarks you'd want. Again, go with a larger quantity. Sometimes there is a minimum on what that quantity can be. And so you would want to look at, okay, what's the minimum? Can I get 10? Can I get 20? For instance, down here, I believe they have a minimum of 50 copies. Okay, so if I got 50 bookmarks and that's my bare minimum, well, how much is it going to cost me? Well, right there, it says for 50 bookmarks and all the basic stuff, it's going to cost me about $56. So let's say 57 divided by 50 copies, that's about $1.14 per bookmark. So that's how I would estimate that cost. Again, for stickers, you would do the exact same thing. Some people use Sticker Mule. I ended up going a lot with Sticky Brand. They run a ton of great deals, and I would just go ahead and start shopping and put in a fake order. The best way to price out your tiers is to actually go and create these fake orders. So put in an order of 20 books. Now clearly don't check out, but figure out what would that total look like and then divide it by 20 to figure out your price per book. Do the same thing with your bookmarks and stickers. Figure out if you had to order the minimum of say 50, then what would it cost per bookmark or per sticker? Those are the costs that you're going to put into those reward tiers to figure out what you need to make at bare minimum, and then hopefully what you need to price it at so that you're also creating a little bit of profit room for yourself. As I said, one of the best places to figure out what vendor you should use is by joining that Kickstarter page, Kickstarter for Authors, where different authors are sharing all about their different experiences with their sticker companies and their bookmark companies and their t-shirt companies and their mug companies and all the other people that they're engaging with. For my books, I used Book Vault. For my bookmarks and for my art prints, I used Aura Print. For my stickers, I used Sticky Brand. But just because I used a company doesn't mean that you should use a company. What you should do is go shop around and see which company or which vendor best suits your needs. If this video was helpful to you at all, you can help me by liking, saving, sharing, and of course, commenting below.